Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing 3 reasons why your worm bin is acidic and 4 ways that you can control the level of acidity in your worm bin. Now, the first reason why your worm bin is acidic is because you're feeding your worms too much acidic foods. Some example of these acidic foods are things like tomato, which is not as acidic as the ones that I'm going to be mentioning hereafter. Onion, garlic, and other members of the onion family. And then you have things like orange rinds and stuff like that. Any member of the citric family. So these foods are acidic. The worms can eat them, but if you feed too much that the worms cannot consume fast enough, then it's going to make your worm bin acidic. And worms cannot tolerate a lot of acid in the bin. They don't want your bin to be acidic. Now, the second reason why your worm bin is acidic is overfeeding your worms. Worms can eat half to their full body weight in a day, and so you want to be feeding them accordingly. Now, while that fact may be so, there are times when worms eat less than half their body weight. So how much your worm eat is something you are going to have to figure out. You don't want to be saying, okay, well, worms eat half to their full body weight in a day, because what happens if your worms are not eating that, but you're feeding them as if they're eating all that? Then you're going to have a buildup of food in your worm bin that is going to lead to it becoming acidic. And the next reason why your worm bin is acidic is not enough air and too much moisture. These two work hand in hand, because when you have too much moisture in your worm bin and your material gets compressed and there is not enough airflow in the worm bin, then you will find that your worm bin is now starting to smell sour, and that is because there is not enough air passing through, and that is making your bin anaerobic, and that is why your bin becomes acidic. So those are the 3 reasons why your bin are acidic. Feeding them too much acidic food, overfeeding them, and not enough air and too much moisture. And remember, those two go together, too much moisture and not enough air. Now, there are 4 ways that you can control the level of acidity in your worm bin. And the first one is by drying out your worm bin. This you can do by adding things like newspaper, shredded paper, which will help to control the moisture content, or you can actually turn out the content of your worm bin. And when you turn it out, you want to put it outside in the sun or anywhere at all. Just let it get the air pass through it. Dry it out a bit. You don't want to over dry it, because if you do that, then what you're going to find is that you're going to be killing your worms. So you have to monitor it and make sure that you're not drying it out too much. You just want to reduce the content of the moisture in the bin. Now, the second way that you can control the acidity in your bin is by not feeding them too much acidic food. So yes, they can eat the acidic food, but you want to give it to them in small portion at a time. And the third way that you can control the level of acidity is by not overfeeding them. And then the fourth way, you want to ensure that you have the proper airflow in your worm bin. That these conditions, once you put them in place, they will control the level of acidity in your worm bin. Now, if you're, oh, I see, yes, I messed up. So things like lime, eggshell, and diatomaceous earth. I keep saying diatomaceous, it's diatomaceous. So it's diatomaceous earth, right? So these things also neutralizes the acid in your worm bin. So if you're going to be using them, the eggshell, the diatomaceous earth, or the lime, Don't just sprinkle it on the top of your worm bin, unless of course you're just feeding on the surface of your worm bin. But if your worm bin on a whole is acidic, you want to mix these into the worm bin, not just pouring it on the surface. So if you do these steps, your worm bin will be neutralized and your worms will be happier, and happy worms will flourish. Okay, so that's it for now. I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet done so, and turn on your notification bell. And that's it for now. I hope you have yourself a wonderful day.